This is my favorite subject. This is one of my very favorite books that's this is well worked over, this book. Not just a book, but the concept. And I love it because it's very accessible. In 20 sutras, Kashmir Shaivism is explained in its entirety. And it gives you the feeling of the enthusiasm, this word spanda, this Spanda Shakti, the idea that the universe is an expression of consciousness, and it's not to be, as Vivek told us, it's not to be rejected, it's not to be closed off. We don't have to go to a cave, but we can let the world teach us in all different ways. So these 20 sutras is a gift to us from the sage Kshemaraja, who translated it from his teacher's great treatise on a larger treatise, and he says in the very beginning of this book, he wrote the 20 sutras and he also commented on it. So within the text, as you get the book, and I'd really recommend you do that, and I'm not just selling books. He says, in this world, there are some devoted people who are undeveloped in reflection and have not taken pains in studying difficult works like logic and dialectics. I think that includes most of us here. Right? But who nevertheless aspire after samavesha, which is the word I just mentioned, means immersion or union, he says, with the highest Lord, which blossoms forth with the descent of Shakti. So who nevertheless aspire after samavesha with the highest Lord, which blossoms forth with the descent of Shakti. So even though we're not well-versed in dialectics and logic, and we're not philosophers, and we haven't studied Sanskrit maybe, and we may be a little dull, because the mirror is a little bit dull, but it's just got enough reflection in it to make us wonder, make us look, make us want to study something as crazy as this, and to go forth and to really try to delve into it, because it requires a lot of reflection, a lot of work. I mean, you can, as Vivek said, you can turn it over a million times, and it still keeps revealing itself to you. So he says, in that same way, he says, which blossoms forth with the descent of Shakti. So this idea of descent of Shakti, grace, and reception and appreciation, all come into it. It seems like an intellectual pursuit, but it's really that, but it's also a devotional pursuit. One of the key peculiarities or particularities of the Pratyabhijna-hrdayam, this doctrine of self-recognition, which is that, and we'll go through this, but all this is explained through the sutras in order, and then it comes to the middle. It's okay. You've got this pashu. He's a bound soul, which Vivek graphically represented to us. He's bound. He's caught in his mind. He thinks he's an individual. He thinks in limited. He sees duality everywhere. He's limited in what he can do. He's bound. He has no freedom, right? So is there any clue? Is there any proof? The sutrakar, the narrator of the sutra, says, by which we can recognize him as Shiva? You're telling me that guy in that form, that's in a body, that's thinking all the time, who thinks everything, that's really Shiva? And the answer is, even in this limited condition, the limited soul performs the fivefold functions just like Shiva. And we'll go into the fivefold functions, but basically it's creation. What are the traditional sense of what a creator does? He creates, he sustains, he destroys. And the fourth function is he conceals his real nature in that creation. And then the fifth one is he bestows grace. And we know what grace is, right? We feel grace, we experience grace. Grace reveals the oneness that is behind everything. That's the grace bestowing power. So what this is a very subtle point. We'll have to kind of really try to delve into it. Even in this limited condition, we perform these fivefold functions. And then we have to ask ourselves, who's performing these fivefold functions? okay? And they say, and implied in this fourth and fifth is that, which I didn't write there, but the limited individual is, as Vivek said, has poverty of Shakti. He feels limited, he feels weak. Because he's identified with this body, he's not identified with his true nature. And we know this. This is the familiar territory for us, right? Everybody expressed different words and sentiments about what bondage felt like, what limitation feels like, because we're familiar with that, right? So it says here, once we begin to see what's really going on in this mind, which is the vortex that creates and sustains and maintains our ignorance, our limitation, our bondage, once we see what's behind it, and we actually sort of part the curtain in a way, get to the essence of it, expand the center, as Vivek said, then we regain our power. We go back to the top. We regain this Shiva Shakti, supremely blissful, supremely conscious, supremely aware state of being. And that is not in a cave, and it's not separate, but it's a feeling of connectedness with everything. So here's what's being described here. The creative process according to Kashmir Shaivism. We have Shiva Shakti at the top there. And the universe is expressed. Comes forth spanda with consciousness, self-awareness, and bliss. And the universe spills forth from this union of Shiva and Shakti. And it's the idea that's being taught here is that it has with great splendor, with great bliss, with great ecstasy. The universe is made of bliss. As Baba said, this universe is made of bliss. It's Shiva's garden. It's for him to see his reflection in. It's not meant for enmity and jealousy. It's meant for a pleasant stroll. So the goal of these sutras is to get us to that place where we see the world in that way, the way in which it's created.